afternoon, this is Jonathan Pearce welcoming you to Highbury as Arsenal try to regain top spot in the First Division from Liverpool, who took over courtesy of that 2-1 win against Millwall on Tuesday, against a Newcastle side down in 19th and struggling against relegation. Arsenal once again led up front with Niall, Quinn, the target man. Quinn's second game of the season. He scored against Everton last Saturday. Arsenal unchanged from that 2-0 victory. Still no Alan Smith, out with a double fracture of the cheekbone. Newcastle United, 4 changes from last week. Kristensen moves back to full-back because Ray Ranson's out for the rest of the season. Frank Pingel, the other Dane, comes in up front. 2 foreigners, which means no place for Mirandinha. Andy Thorn is back in Mirandinha's number 9 shirt. And a full debut for Paul Sweeney, their recent signing from Wraith Rovers. Paul Davis alongside Martin Hayes, you can see there in the stands. Arsenal to kick off in the first half, kicking from left to right towards the clock end. Kenny Sansom, of course, we saw a couple of seconds ago, back on his old stamping ground, played 394 games here for Arsenal. Now a Newcastle United left full-back, and Arsenal immediately testing the Newcastle defence. With Liverpool in action in the FA Cup semi-final today against Nottingham Forest, it gives Arsenal the chance to regain top spot. They're behind Liverpool at the moment on goal difference. Nigel Winterburn the throw. Niall, Quinn the target. Gary Kelly the save. Republic of Ireland under-21 keeper, son of Alan Kelly, who starred for many years at Preston North End. Header away by Steve Bould. John Hendrie, rumoured to be unhappy on Tyneside after the move from Bradford City. If Newcastle go down, I wonder what Jim Smith will do with a hefty wage bill. David McCreery, one of the stalwarts, had a fine season as Newcastle have struggled. And David O'Leary back to John Lukic. Again, Arsenal using the sweeper system with O'Leary, the last man back, and the lone target man, Niall Quinn. The system depends on Marwood and David Rocastle getting through. An awful lot of spade work from the midfield, pushing forward. Of course, Rocastle to Thomas and Dixon. Steve Bould. Andy Thorn under pressure from Niall Quinn. Nigel Winterburn goes down, gets to his feet, looks for Quinn, and Andy Thorn, well, you won't often see him wearing number 9, Andy Thorn. Jim Smith determined to keep hold of him at the end of the season, whatever happens to the Tynesiders. In comes the corner then. Headed out by Kevin Scott, still bouncing around. Trouble here for Newcastle United. Bodies piling in. O'Leary there. Kelly trying to look for the ball, like looking for a needle in a haystack. And the referee, John Martin from Alton in Hampshire, finally steps in. Kenny Sansom was in there. David Rocastle. Glenn Roeder on the ground, the number 6, David O'Leary, looking for his first goal of the season. Well, it looks a little bit like it's a knockout rather than football. Lee Dixon, oh, good ball, Brian Marwood, can he keep it in, Marwood? Yes, he does, good ball back as well, chance for Kevin Richardson. And a brave tackle by David McCreery for Newcastle United. O'Leary, Dixon again, all Arsenal. So familiar, this pattern here at Highbury. In this second half of the season, they start as if there's no tomorrow. Beaten by Nottingham Forest a few weeks ago. Could only draw here against Sheffield Wednesday. Can't afford to lose any more home points. Liverpool, don't forget, at one stage 20 points behind Arsenal at the turn of the year when the Gunners went top with a victory against Charlton Athletic. They clawed their way back in it, the Merseysiders. Adams shielding his eyes against the sun. Winterburn. Charged down by John Hendrie. Ever present this season. 5 goals to his name, 17 last term for Bradford City, their top scorer. A long throw, looks for Frank Pingel, the Danish under-21 international. Dixon got out of trouble well. Pingel, one of 2 Danes in this side, the other Bjorn Kristensen wearing 2. 6 caps for his country before this season, £250,000 signing from Aarhus. Dixon. Steve Bould goes past Pingel, looks for Quinn, did well. Kenny Sansom. Lost weight since he's been up on the northeast, as Kenny Sansom, looking fitter than he has done for a while. 86 caps to his name, the most capped fullback in English football history. Quinn again. The lighthouse they aim for. Kristensen gets it away. That's a dangerous cross into the middle. Kelly had to watch it all the way. Well, Newcastle haven't given him a great deal of protection in his 6 games in the side. They've lost 3 in a row. 6 points above West Ham at the bottom, but they've got 2 less games to play, Newcastle United. And in desperate trouble. Niall Quinn, away from Sansom. Did well. In the middle. That's the obvious danger when you've only got the 1 recognised striker. It's up to the midfield players to push on. And it'll be Glenn Roeder to take the free kick for Newcastle United. Missed most of this season through injury. Now 30 years of age. Header out by Bould. Fiery little character Paul Sweeney, the number 11 with the ginger hair for Newcastle United involved. The man they signed from Wraith Rovers. Away by Bould. Sansom's head. And a chance here for Nigel Winterburn. Pingel took his legs away. Scored against Liverpool. The right-handed Pingel. And David O'Leary in some pain. Tony Adams, the free kick then for Arsenal. Away by Paul Sweeney. Richardson. Too much to do. Nigel Winterburn. Then Roeder. Up the line. Ooh, Tony Adams. Frank Pingel. Held it up well. John Lukic. Dixon, Rocastle, Richardson, desperate for a victory. Richardson against his hometown club, Newcastle United. Here's Mickey Thomas. Good ball, picks up Marwood, also from the northeast. Seaham Harbour, he comes from. Mickey Thomas. Quinn offside. What a a good ground this for Newcastle United. 4 wins at Highbury in 30 years. Their cause today not helped by the fact that Ranson, Brock and O'Brien all out injured. £800,000 of talent on the sidelines. Rocastle away from Scott. Sweeney chases. Rocastle to Richardson. Ran into a wall of black and white, and it was Rocastle's shot far away. Took a deflection. Rocastle finds Richardson. Roeder's clearance bounces nicely for Rocastle, and it deflected off Glenn Roeder's back. And Leary, that protective bandage on his right foot. Smartish turn by Adams. Roeder read it well. Clockend Terrace below the executive boxes. They'll be opened in time for the Derby County home match, which is Arsenal's penultimate home game of the season. And David O'Leary's battle against that foot injury ends. Paul Merson makes his appearance with 19 minutes gone. The young man in the running for the Professional Footballers Association Young Player of the Year award to be announced tomorrow night. Glenn Roeder's kick clear. Adams' header. Interesting to see how Arsenal cope tactically here. Will they just revert to a 4-man defence? Here's Marwood. Merson to his left. Quinn far side. Looks for Quinn, too high for him. Richardson following through. Ryan Marwood, 11 goals this season, looking for his 100th goal in senior football. Here he is again. His feet clip though. Fiery little character, Paul Sweeney. His 3rd appearance for Newcastle. His first full appearance. From Wraith Rovers, £150,000. Gives away the free kick to Arsenal. Thomas. Well, Arsenal in recent weeks at home have had a tendency to pump balls down the middle. Glenn Roeder back again to his 22-year-old from forward, making his 54th appearance for Newcastle United. Gary Kelly. Gary Kelly and Tommy Wright have taken over the duties vacated by Dave Pheasant's move south to Chelsea. John Lukic, the Arsenal keeper, can't get to that one. Newcastle's first real chance to put Lukic's goal under pressure then. Pingel on the line. Surprisingly few Newcastle bodies in that box though. Oh, and it came off Pingel and nearly forced home at the far post by Michael O'Neill. And Arsenal in all sorts of problems in the air at the back. Just hit Pingel on the head. Lukic got a hand to it, and it was forced off the line by Nigel Winterburn from Michael O'Neill, and nearly a shot lead from relegation haunted Newcastle United. Newcastle captain Kenny Sansom, for so long skipper here at Arsenal, takes the throw. Into the middle, Hendrie after it. Hendrie turns and it's off the post, and O'Neill again can't force it in, and Newcastle scaring the pants off Arsenal at the moment. Quinn through to Thomas, McCreery battling back. Typical determined piece of play by David McCreery. Ken Sansom away. No wonder John Lukic is asking questions. The long throw by Sansom, well, Arsenal should be well versed in that. Hendrie causing all sorts of problems to Nigel Winterburn. Lukic came off Bould, not the post, and O'Neill couldn't force it in. Good stop by Lukic. The second time he's managed to get a fingertip to it. Steve Bould now looks for Niall Quinn. Quinn's head down, Richardson, good stop by Kelly, and off the line, and chances at either end. Newcastle survive. Now Winterburn, chipped by Hendrie, free kick. Good nod down by Quinn. Richardson met it, the rising volley. Kelly almost forced in by Winterburn, off the line by Roeder. Niall Quinn nearly stretched that enormous 6'3" frame and nodded home for Arsenal. In comes the free kick. Adams nearly makes connection, so too Niall Quinn. Quinn again winning the duel in the air to Rocastle to test his former mentor Kenny Sansom, who remains one of the best left fullbacks in the country. Dixon the long throw for Arsenal. Looks for Bould, almost comes to Rocastle. Marwood on the turn, couldn't connect properly. Roeder didn't get the header away. Rocastle, the half volley. And eventually Marwood goes wide. Bjorn Kristensen, interesting to see, he turned his back on Marwood's shot then. Handball against Niall Quinn. No, I don't think so, Niall. A long, tall lad. And perhaps a long, tall story as well. To the referee, who didn't read it the same way. Newcastle more than pleased at the moment, though. Arsenal 0, second in the table, needing the points to go back top. Newcastle 19th, needing the points for other reasons. 0 as well. Sansom. The con was by Michael O'Neill. Andy Thorn back in. Frank Pingel. John Hendrie. By Dixon. And John Hendrie looks to the referee and says, why didn't he play on? Because Newcastle would have had the advantage. Ken Sansom to float it in then. This is where the Newcastle danger has come from. Lukic must get, he's come for it. Good catch. touch, Merson away, Rocastle, bottom of your picture. Ball slightly overstruck. Rocastle first time into the middle. Merson went for the return and good save by the keeper again. Good football, Arsenal. That's more like a star befitting championship contenders. Rocastle's first time cross was a peach. Merson's delivery slightly overstruck. Rocastle did well. And Merson, who continued his run, difficult header to get to as well. He had to stretch for it. Marwood off to Richardson, to Winterburn. Newcastle got a man over here. Can't make use of it, or can they? Ball Sweeney. Comes away limping, but it was his foul. Nigel Winterburn downfield. No handball. Referee John Martin, right there. Thomas and Richardson collide. Oh, Quinn turned well from Kevin Scott. And that'll be a booking for the young man from Easington, a 22-year-old defender. His 42nd appearance in a Newcastle shirt. Started the season in the number 5 shirt. Lost his place, but he's been back for the last 10 or so games. Beaten by Quinn's turn. No attempt to play the ball and a yellow card. Dixon's free kick for Arsenal. Good jump at the far post by Steve Bould. Thundered away. Arsenal very quick to get on with things. Perhaps it's all a little bit too frantic at the moment. Perhaps they need a wise old head in midfield just to put his foot on the ball. Missing Paul Davis, of course, for most of the season. Davis has played just 18 games. And Newcastle United about to make a substitution. It's David Roche coming on for his debut. And Paul Sweeney, hurt giving away that free kick a few moments ago, on his full debut, goes off. And David Roche, a former YTS trainee, on for his debut in a Newcastle shirt. The 32nd player used this season by Willie McFall and Jim Smith. And in comes the throw in. Richardson, Merson, oh, took a deflection, fine save by Kelly. He did well there. Wouldn't have counted anyway. No wonder he was smiling. Offside against Quinn as he was coming back. But he did well to change direction in mid-air. Fine acrobatic catch. O'Neill. Then Roeder. On by Roche. Pingel not pleased with the ball went. Wonder how they communicate. Perhaps Pingel has picked up a Geordie version of Danish English. Rocastle, Thomas and Quinn. Marwood picked out well. Looping cross, Quinn came for it. And Kelly, a good claim for Newcastle United. Had a good game, the young man in the Newcastle goal. Here's Roche, overstruck. Quinn. Marwood. Quinn again. Oh, nice ball in. Now, what was that? Brian Marwood went down. Marwood incensed. John Martin nonplussed. Well, it was a shove outside the box anyway. Bjorn Kristensen, the man involved with Marwood. But no penalty, says John Martin. Now Jim Smith's turn to be annoyed on the bench. Remaining Newcastle substitute, Rob Macdonald, back in the reckoning these days. The big, tall centre forward, brought back to this country from Dutch football. Thorn, vital header. Michael O'Neill did well. Space to run, the 19-year-old. Pingel's return pass was overweighted. Kristensen. Such a versatile player, Kristensen, can play centre-back, right, full-back, or in midfield indeed. Now here's Niall Quinn. Winterburn steaming down the left. They get a chance to get it now. Roeder behind him. Richardson. Too long. Quinn. He's won virtually everything in the air, but Arsenal haven't been able to capitalise on it. And the half-time whistle blows, boos all round, hardly satisfactory for Arsenal, second in the table. The closest they've came, a Brian Marwood hook shot off the line by Glenn Roeder. But Newcastle have always gone close themselves. Frank Pingel, a header saved. O'Neill off the line as well by Winterburn. The half-time score, Arsenal 0, Newcastle 0. Welcome back to the second half. Newcastle in the black and white stripes and dark shorts, kicking from left to right towards the clock end. Arsenal need the victory here to go top of the table. Always too frantic in the first half. Not enough measured football. Richardson now. Can they turn it on in this second period to Winterburn? Thomas. Hendrie looked as if it came off Nigel Winterburn's boot, but the throw-in given to Arsenal. Hendrie away. Tony Adams. On by Richardson. O'Neill under pressure from Dixon. Dixon gets it, but by foul means. Let me just remind you, Newcastle United with one of their substitutes already on the field, David Roche, on for Paul Sweeney, and Arsenal with Paul Merson on the field for David O'Leary, who limped off after just 19 minutes. Richardson down. Newcastle United just one away defeat in 5. And they've won at Liverpool, at Norwich, at Coventry, all title contenders at various stages this season, and another victory at Sheffield Wednesday. They've picked up a useful point at Nottingham Forest as well, so it's a yardstick for Arsenal against their title rivals. Here's Frank Pingel. Pingel, good use of the advantage rule, and again O'Neill chases, Sansom collects. O'Neill, it was always going to be speculative from there. And Newcastle under pressure from Lukic's ginormous kick out. Quinn at the far post, nods down, and the free kick given anyway. Arsenal have used that tactic so well throughout this season. Marwood doesn't like it, and Marwood's going to be booked, I think, for voicing his opinions. Marwood goes into John Martin's little black book. And that won't please George Graham any. He likes his players to be committed, but not to be booked for dissent. Now here's Adams, away by Thorn. Kristensen under pressure from Richardson. Kristensen, who was in Denmark's disastrous European Championship squad in the summer in West Germany. Then Roeder, who's never quite made it that high up the international table, takes the free kick. And Kevin Scott was shoving into Niall Quinn. Newcastle United, other draws away this season at Middlesbrough, at Luton and at Charlton. Arsenal just those 2 home defeats by Aston Villa and Nottingham Forest. They can ill afford to drop points here today. Quinn, you can sense the desperation. Rocastle to the Thomas. Sansom, it's easy for him. Recall a period of solid Arsenal pressure in this game. A period when they've strung a series of passes together and set up a series of chances. The odd isolated moment, that's all. There's Merson. Now, Richardson. Winterburn. Marwood outside him. Oh, good check by Winterburn. Wrong-footed the defender. Final ball was lacking. Bould. Rocastle. We see a bit of the Rocastle magic that time. Brilliant form, Rocastle, for country at the moment. The World Cup qualifier at Albania to come at home, of course. Up goes Bould, away by little David McCreery. Adams. Chance here for Marwood, Brian Marwood. And Kelly saves. And still Marwood awaits that 100th goal in senior football. 99 from 387 appearances. And how sweet that would have been for the 100th. Hit it right. Probably got over it a little bit too much. Marwood again. Adams. Tony Adams. Paul Merson. Merson wants a man square. Rocastle. Away by Sansom. Richardson. Rocastle again. Beginning to buzz. Corner kick. all Arsenal in this second half. Marwood with the corner. Looks for Bould. Bould got the touch. Adams coming into the far post, and it was Andy Thorn away. Such an underrated defender, Andy Thorn. Adams arriving at the far post. A well-worked Arsenal routine, that. Bould to the near post, the flick. There he goes again. Richardson with a volley. It's off the line by Kenny Sansom and touched over in the end by Andy Thorn once more, and Kevin Richardson denied an opening goal for Arsenal. Just the one goal for him this season against Everton, as the corner comes in again. Richardson, good ball wide. Marwood, Rocastle and Bould combine, and Marwood has another chance. Brave punch by Kelly. Did it carry enough? Dixon, is Kelly back? He was, and Glenn Roeder was protecting anyway. Richardson met it full on the volley, and it was Ken Sansom, his abdomen in the way, got it away for Newcastle United. Marwood's corner for Arsenal again. Swinging in wickedly. Macdonald off the bench to warm up. And Steve Bould, a little bit of advice from Gary Lewin. Bould running off an injury. Winterburn will settle for the throw. John Hendrie determined, as all these Newcastle players, to hold out. Arsenal unbeaten in 4. Crowd 38,023, some 3,000 above Arsenal's average here, screaming for a goal. Winterburn picks out Quinn. O'Neill gets it away. Rocastle. Another corner. Rocastle beginning to give Kenny Sansom a hard time. Arsenal for so many corners. Marwood, Bould up. Kelly came flat, missed and collects. Not a big man for a goalkeeper. Gary Kelly, 5'11". John Lukic at the other end, 6'4". And this 25-year-old Danish international Bjorn Kristensen will take the throw in. On by Pingel. Pingel looks to be tiring. Front for Newcastle. Very little of the ball in the second half. Whether he's picked up an injury or he's simply tiring in on this very hot early spring afternoon, I'm not too sure. He seems to be lumbering away out there. Richardson beginning to control things in midfield for Arsenal. Wide to Lee Dixon. And away by Glenn Roeder. Arsenal, who took the points with a 1-0 win up on Tyneside earlier on in the season. Steve Bould scored the only goal of the game with a looping header from just outside the 6-yard area. Here's Michael O'Neill. Oh, Tony Adams. Now this is a chance for Hendrie. He lacks support, arrives now in the shape of Pingel. Seems to have shrugged off that injury, Pingel. But not a first division class first touch by him. Quinn on the volley. It's Scott on the back. O'Neill back to Kelly. Although Newcastle United in ordinary circumstances will be pleased with a point at Arsenal, I wonder if that'll be enough for them this season with time running out. They only need 3. Both sides needing a victory, of course. Richardson now. And Pingel. Gets it back from Hendrie. Rocastle finds Dixon in space. Uses his time well and then overruns it. Frantically signalling to his players the frustration of a man who knows his fortunes lie in the hands of the 11 players he selects. Newcastle United, by the way, have just made their second substitution. As we were looking at Graham, Frank Pingel has gone off and Rob Macdonald has come on with 14 minutes remaining. Pingel obviously was tiring. And Macdonald, just caught a glimpse of there in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, wearing 14. A big target man for Newcastle to aim at. There's Arsenal's target man, Niall Quinn. McCreery, that tussle with Richardson's been fascinating all afternoon. You have to say that Richardson beginning to win it now, beginning to come out on top. McCreery, perhaps the 31-year-old legs on the Belfast boy, beginning to tire. Roeder, a London boy from Woodford in Essex. Comes to McCreery. Adams charged it down but couldn't get away with it. Now Rocastle to Thomas, chance for Arsenal to break here. Merson. Rocastle in space, Richardson in front of him, down here to the left of your screen, into the penalty area, Michael Thomas, Quinn in the middle, Marwood there, Marwood scores for Arsenal. 69 minutes gone, and finally the breakthrough that the Arsenal fans have been craving for. Brian Marwood's 12th goal of the season, a swift breakout, controlled passing, and Marwood on hand to tap home for the Gunners. Rocastle always looking. Good run into the box by Michael Thomas. Thomas the cross, Quinn and Marwood on hand, and while Newcastle United appeal for offside, Marwood sticks it home. Glares at the linesman by Bjorn, Kristensen and Gary Kelly. But with 11 minutes remaining, Arsenal do have the lead. Slightly more relaxed. But only slightly. Merson. Arsenal beginning to stretch Newcastle at last. Dixon. Richardson. Arsenal without a home win against Newcastle in their last 3 meetings here since 1985, when they triumphed 2-0. know how vital the points are for them. The Geordies know how vital they are for them as well. With the matches draining away, you have to look now at Newcastle's plight and say they are looking more and more likely to be doomed to the second division. They really needed a point at least here. In comes Winterburn's long throw, causes problems. It was Rocastle's header at the far post, saved easily in the end by Gary Kelly, but a few hearts aflutter amongst the Newcastle faithful at the clock end. Lee Dixon, Arsenal trying to press home the advantage now, beginning to play a bit. Quinn has won everything in the air. Macdonald's first touch. Rocastle, Quinn, oh, he's held that up well, Niall Quinn. Very surprising. Deft touch on the ball on the ground for a big man as Niall Quinn. Merson did well. Merson, could this be the settler now? No, Kenny Sansom. As cool as you like. And that'll get a warm round of applause. That's a popular player here over the years, Kenny Sansom. Winterburn now. Still Marwood unhappy. Already been cautioned. Unhappy at Bjorn Kristensen. And how much of that Mr. Kristensen understood? It's anyone's guess. Roeder, 522 games for Leyton Orient, and Queen's Park Rangers and Notts County and Newcastle. Tries to haul his side back into it. And it comes through. Sansom, a chance against his old side. Now, is that offside? Kenny Sansom, it's ruled out. But what a moment it would have been for the former gunner. Frustration written all over his face. But Arsenal nearly caught cold. Marwood can't get his foot to it. Sansom continues the run. I think it's offside there in the middle against Kevin Scott. Arsenal already appealing when the balls come through to Sansom. Sansom was in an onside position, but I think the flag must have been raised slightly earlier for Kevin Scott. Throw. Smith off his feet. Jim Smith, chance here for Macdonald. Got up well. Lukic well positioned though. John Lukic has kept the Arsenal #1 shirt in the face of some severe criticism over the years. Of expensive foreign imports on the cards. He's done well, has John Lukic this season. Kenny Sansom. Still Arsenal lead by that Brian Marwood goal after 69 minutes. Lukic under pressure from Macdonald. Distance on the punch. McCreery following it up. Again Lukic an up and under to deal with. Free kick given. And John Lukic will now clear. David O'Leary. Quinn rather it was. Won by Macdonald. It's for Hendrie. Back to Kristensen, deep. Sansom again up there in the box. Rocastle for Arsenal. Thomas. Merson, Scott behind him. Thomas beginning to find a little bit of form again. Michael Thomas in the anchor man role in midfield after a bit of a disappointing winter for him by his own standards. Here's Rocastle, fine ball, perfect timing to Merson. It'll go there again. Signalling to John Martin that it's all over on his clock. Marwood. Up goes Bould. Oh, Quinn couldn't quite get it. Rocastle again wide to the goal scorer Brian Marwood. And Niall Quinn given just too much to do by Andy Thorn. Adams first. Rocastle to Marwood. Cut out by Kevin Scott. David McCreery. Michael O'Neill. Lee Dixon. Goes Hendrie. Another disappointing afternoon for him. Nigel Winterburn has kept him in check and answered a few of the critics who say that while he's one of the best attacking fullbacks in the game, he lacks defensive discipline, and he's proved them wrong today. Hendrie hasn't had a look in, and Winterburn surely close to the England squad. Flick off by Quinn. Newcastle so quick and anxious to get on with it. Kelly again, boom down the middle. Out of play, Nigel Winterburn. Tim Smith, certainly demonstrative on the bench. The throw by Kristensen, nodded on by Roeder. Arsenal more relaxed on the bench now, almost home and dry. Quinn, Merson, and Kevin Scott. And his ball to Kenny Sansom was a difficult one for Sansom to control. Scott now tries to atone for it. Bould and Dixon caught in two minds. Rob Macdonald into the middle. Arsenal's nerves jangling. Jim Smith's, it would seem. And the header by Macdonald goes wide. And Jim Smith being asked to take his seat on his bench. Annoyed at his side's inability to come back from this one-goal deficit. Jim Smith, such a wholehearted manager. And Perry Groves to come on for the last 2 minutes. It's David Rocastle. suffering from a kick on the calf, I think, and goes off. Perry Lewin there, tending to the wound. That's not good news for Arsenal, with David O'Leary off injured as well. But a late run out for Perry Groves. Bould under pressure. Kevin Scott thrown forward in the last gasp effort from Newcastle. Quinn up there. Thomas away, Quinn once more, poor header. Hendrie the chance to cross, in bites Lee Dixon. That's a better header now, Quinn. But unfortunately, actually, they bounced off Hendrie. The full-time whistle. Relief all around on the terraces, on the pitch and in the Arsenal dugout. Not a fairy tale return to Highbury for Kenny Sansom, nor for Newcastle. They stay 19th, second bottom in the table. Arsenal triumph by a 1-0 to go back to the top of the First Division. It came late.
Well, let's take a check on the teams and